Hi there. My name is Jose Antonio Fernandez, but my friends can call me Tonio. I have lived tennis all my life, and I'm the third generation of tennis players in my family. I played on the ATP Pro Tennis Tour between 1982 and 1993. And once I finished the competitive part, I began to work as a coach, developing young players in the area of high performance, or at least my definition of that. My learning process went probably the other way around, from practice to theory instead of theory to practice. During high school, in my first philosophy class, I heard a sentence that stayed with me until today. Mens sana in corpore sano. This sentence is attributed to the Latin poet Juvenal, a healthy mind in a healthy body. This has been kind of a north star for me, the philosophy of learning and improving, not only on the court as an athlete, but also the virtues of a human being. So let's redefine high performance. After studying, reflecting, and coaching for over 25 years, I decided to write down my personal paradigm, including concepts that resonated with my own experiences. This program is the result of having been both the player and the coach. Experience has taught me two things. First off, that in today's competitive world, there is a real need to redefine the meaning of high performance. We tend to think that success is found through external results. Yet, the most valuable gift that was given through tennis was the realization that success is a body-mind state. To reiterate, in my opinion, high performance does not consist only and exclusively of the external results, which you can only influence but not control, but also of the quality of your inner experience, which is entirely within your control. Secondly, that the principles of success are universal and that the source of being in your zone of genius starts and ends within you. So what is high performance? High performance is a life philosophy. It's the process that allows you to consistently perform in your personal zone of genius. I recognize two big areas in this philosophy. Preparation, which are your learnings, your practices, and your habits, and performance. Here is where you get out of your thinking mind and step through your body into your zone of genius. Your breath is the bridge to synchronize between body and mind. This cycle of preparing and performing is a never-ending process. We will never reach perfection, but excellence is a good standard to have. You go from being the student to being the master to being the student again. Being able to step into your zone of genius at will is probably one of the greatest gifts of high performance. The result is that you stop competing against others and you start competing against yourself. Welcome to today's webinar, where, as Albert Einstein once said, I will try to make things as simple as possible, but not simpler. Together, we will try to answer the following question throughout this webinar. The question is, what is the goal of the game? The frame I've developed is called the 3 dimensions of coaching, which sets the development of oneself at the center of the equation. These 3 dimensions are the following: the player, the game, and the outcomes. Today we will take a closer look at the dimension of the player. Everything starts with who you are, mentally, emotionally, and physically, and how you connect with those aspects of yourself. Your highest potential is found when you grow your inner self. That is the motor that moves all the other pieces. Your personality is part inborn as in temperament and part learned as in character. The building of character presents an opportunity for growth. The three components of the player are the skills of awareness, vision, and self-mastery. In my opinion, this is the first aspect that we need to approach in order to nourish performance and must always be maintained in the center of the equation in order to grow a skillful self. Here is where we focus on the mental, emotional, and physical skills of the individual. The first key component's goal, awareness, is to increase one's capacity to be aware of both the environment as well as oneself. The final objective is to obtain a strong sense of identity. This, in turn, requires a heightened level of honesty, especially with yourself. I call the second aspect the vision. It is important to take responsibility for being the author of your best self, which refers to both having a clear long-term goal as well as daily processes. This can be composed of an extrinsic influenceable and an intrinsic controllable goal. The third aspect is called self-mastery. This step contains 4 subtopics which aim to help in mastering the body, the mind, and the emotions. Hang tight while we go over them in more detail together. First off is the ability to learn, which requires a capacity to dedicate focused, intentional effort onto a given task. We are to bring curiosity for new findings, as well as a willingness to repeat the fundamentals while enduring the subsequent discomfort in order to continue growing. The next idea pertains to discipline, which is a skill that allows you to see things through, regardless of how you feel in the moment. Self-confidence can be built through this, as it becomes clear that you can stick to your word. And even discipline has 2 aspects to it: fundamentals and specifics. If you are looking to achieve anything grand, you will require a big amount of energy and motivation. And the most relevant fundamentals are sleep, eat, breathe, and celebrate. The discipline specifics are the aspect that will help you improve and perform. The ability to focus, good habits, and a steady emotional control. Finally comes respect. We need to cultivate respect to the game, to ourselves, and to others. Any journey to success will include losses, despite putting forth your best foot and honest effort. It is our task to have the humility to accept momentary defeat and rise to the challenge once more. The fourth and final component of self-mastery is the body. Putting aside the basic physical skills such as strength, speed, endurance, flexibility, etc. The body is a source of information regarding sensations, emotions, and intuitions. Learning to listen to this information is what I call the somatic dialogue, which permits you to deepen the relationship between your body and your mind, with the understanding that our body is our second brain. As Socrates once put it, to know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. We're going to very briefly go into the next two dimensions of this coaching frame. The game, which is composed of a strength-based strategy that takes into account your temperament and your technical skills. The final dimension are the outcomes, which is composed of the analysis of the quantitative data and, more importantly, the exploration of the qualitative data of your inner experience. This is what I refer to as the zone of genius. So let's take a closer look at what that really means. A state of mastery, the habit of creating an internal body-mind state rooted in the present moment of awareness. Developing a consistent, intentional practice of being in the moment will move you closer to your external goal. We need to develop mastery in the areas of the body, the mind, and the breath to intentionally access the zone of genius. The body is a part of the self that interacts with the environment. Perception is always a mental interpretation of stimuli being received from the outside and from within, and that we capture through our sensory channels. Therefore, sensation is always previous to perception. The body is the first to know. We need to develop the skill to listen to what our body communicates. We need a skillful body if we want to perform at our best. Skills not only related to movement, mobility, balance, rhythm, and coordination, but also the interpretation of sensations and emotions. The breath is always here and now, originates in the body, and is the bridge that creates a deeper awareness about our thoughts, sensations, and emotions. Additionally, it is a tool that permits us to regulate our emotional state. Thoughts and language are created in our minds. They set us on course. It's extremely important that we become attentive to what we think and say, even if these words never come out of our mouth. If used correctly, these two assets can be tremendously beneficial to direct our focus and motivation towards the most immediate task at hand. We need to develop the habit of engaging in a ritual or protocol that connects body, breath, and mind together. I call it your zone of genius, the habit of engaging with the present moment. In this state, fear and anger are not part of your experience, expanding the boundaries of yourself. There's always two possible outcomes: the results that we can influence but not control, and the process that is under our control and will define the quality of your experience. Success has many definitions depending on each one of us, but my definition is that success is determined by the quality of the inner experience. And finally, what is the goal of the game for me? I want to thank you for accompanying me on this brief journey together today. And to answer the question we posed in the beginning, my personal answer would be another question. Does the zone of genius produce the outcome, or is it the outcome itself? I believe that the quality of your inner experience is the goal of the game. The way you connect with the present moment to consistently perform at your best becomes an end in itself. That process is what I call your zone of genius. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. Aristoteles. Thank you again for being here with me today.